What's going on there, guys? Welcome back to part 2 of my entire Blu-ray collection video. I hope you guys enjoyed part 1, and we're not going to wait any longer here, guys. We're just going to dive into the second part of my entire collection here, because like I said, I can only do up to about 15 minutes of these videos here. So let's not wait too much longer, and let's dive into the rest of my collection here. So again, we left off with the Disney movies here. The first one we're going to start off with here is 2012. And then we have 21. Like I said, I apologize for the glare here, guys. I just want to have enough lighting to see, for you guys to see what I have here. 300. We have the 40-Year-Old Virgin. And 50/50, which is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated films that I've seen. Alright, let's see. Then we have Abraham Lincoln, The Vampire Hunter. We have The Accountant, one of my favorite movies from last year. The Age of Adeline. Air Force One. Alien. And Aliens, two of the best sci-fi flicks of all time. All Dogs Go to Heaven. Along Came a Spider. American Hustle. Love this movie. American Psycho, one of the best. It's one of my favorite films. It's not for everybody, but it's just a hilarious film to watch. American Sniper, this is a Steelbook edition. American Werewolf in London. Apollo 13. Arrival, which I liked. The director, Denis Villeneuve, if I pronounce his name right, he's made 3 very good films. Of the 3, though, this is probably my least favorite. Although he did make Enemy, I don't want to forget about that film. And that was a good film, but this is probably one of my least favorite films he's made so far. But it was very good. It did make my top 10 last year. Forgive me, don't worry about the dogs. We have Armageddon, Army of Darkness. As Good as It Gets, a very underrated film. Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. The Babadook. Balto. Beetlejuice, that really cool lenticular cover. Very, very hard to find that one. Then we have Big. Big Daddy. Big Trouble in Little China. We have Biodome, which is one of the worst comedies ever, but my 2 brothers and I really enjoyed that. Black Sheep. Black Swan. The Blade Trilogy. The first one is definitely my favorite. I mean, I like the second one too. Third one, well, we're not going to talk about that one. Blood Diamond. Double feature of Bloodsport and Time Cop. I just got this because of Bloodsport. I don't care for Time Cop. We have Blue Crush. The Bone Collector, a very underrated film. Boyhood, this is the Criterion Collection. Braveheart, Steelbook edition. Breakfast Club. Bring It On. Let's see, Broken Arrow. Brothers. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The Burbs. Cabin in the Woods. Really like that little cool lenticular cover right there. Let's see, what do we leave off here? Casino. Casino Royale, my favorite James Bond movie. Skyfall. Spectre, which is not as good as these 2 are. It was a little bit of letdown, but wasn't a bad movie. We have Casper. Castaway. Cellular. Then we have Chef. It's actually a little tight here, so let me move this out. This movie, by the way, if you guys haven't seen, I'll tell you, it will make you hungry. No kidding. That film will definitely make you guys hungry. Then we have Child's Play. City Slickers. The Client. Collateral, one of my favorite Tom Cruise films. Commando. Con Air. They just celebrated the 20th anniversary of this film just yesterday. Congo. The Conjuring, another really cool lenticular cover there. I love these lenticular covers. Then we have the sequel, Conjuring 2, or The Conjuring 2, excuse me. Courageous, in my opinion, one of the most underrated films. Guys, I'll tell you, if you ever want to see a film that's going to, you know, really inspire you, I highly recommend to check this out. It's just such a great film. It's one of my top, for sure, I think 50 films of all time. Crazy Heart. Peter Benchley's a creature. Terrible movie, but it's a guilty pleasure. Dante's Peak, The Day After Tomorrow, Deep Blue Sea, Deep Impact, The Departed, the Steelbook edition, one of my top 10 favorite films of all time. This is by far my favorite Scorsese film. I mean, I just remember seeing the trailer for this and, you know, just looking at the cast on the top here, I was like, how can this movie not be good? You know, it's just a phenomenal movie. The Descendants, The Descent, Despicable Me 1, and Despicable Me 2. Then we have Disturbia. We have Divergent, the only one I actually like in the entire franchise. And we have Django Unchained, the Steelbook edition. Alright, now we're going to move down to the third shelf here. Or excuse me, the fourth shelf. We have Dodgeball, Don John, Don't Breathe, one of my this was one of my top 10 favorite films from 2007 or 2016, excuse me. Draft Day, Dragonheart, Drive, Dumb and Dumber, one of my favorite comedy movies of all time. You know, another thing about this movie too, by the way, guys, I hear a lot of people say, now, how can you like that movie? It's so dumb. Look at the title, guys, right there. That's what you're getting yourself in for. It's a dumb movie, but it's just funny. I don't know what else I can really tell you. We have Easy A, The Edge, Edge of Tomorrow Steelbook edition. I did hear they're talking about doing a sequel for this. Edward Scissorhands Steelbook edition. Everybody Wants Some. Ex Machina, which I'm going to actually upgrade this to 4K. They just came up with the 4K yesterday. Let's see, we have Face Off, Steelbook edition. Fargo, double feature of Father of the Bride Part 1 and Part 2. We have The Fault in Our Stars. Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, another one of my favorite films of all time. I just love that scene with her, you know, where Ferris is singing in the parade. I think it was in Chicago, if I remember. We have A Few Good Men. You Can't Handle the Truth. Fight Club. Which I gotta tell you what, guys, I like this film. I do. It's a very good film, but I hear a lot of people say it's like one of the top 20 best films of all time, and I won't go that far, guys. I'll be honest with you, it doesn't even make my top, like, 100 favorite films of all time, but it is a very good film. We have The Fighter, Flipper, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Let's see, we have Forrest Gump, classic. What else can you say about that one? Foxcatcher. Then we have Friends with Benefits. The Fugitive, one of my all-time favorite action films. Then we have Fury, The Gift, The Girl Next Door, Gladiator, another one of my favorite films of all time. Glory, Godzilla. Let's see, GoldenEye, Good Will Hunting, another phenomenal film. One of my all-time favorites, The Goonies. Just watched this the other night. Man, I haven't seen it in a while, but like I said, I just watched it a couple nights ago and love this movie. Never get tired of it. Gran Torino, Gravity, The Great Outdoors, a classic John Candy film. My grandfather and I grew up loving John Candy films. He got me into them and just love watching John Candy films. Gremlins, Gremlins 2, double feature of Grumpy Old Men and Grumpier Old Men. Hacksaw Ridge, this is my #1 favorite movie from 2016. Then we have the original Halloween, and I don't know if you guys heard the news, there will be a new Halloween movie coming out next year, in the end of 2018, and they're bringing it back to the original location in Haddonfield. So John Carpenter is involved in the project, so I'm getting really excited about that. Hopefully we can get a really good Halloween movie for once. We have Halloween 2, Halloween H2O. These are the only 2 sequels that I actually enjoy watching. Let's see, we have Happy Gilmore, The Hateful Eight, Hell or High Water, one of the biggest surprises last year. Actually, this is, along with Deadpool, this is one of the biggest surprises from last year. I've watched this film probably about 3 times right now. We have Heat, Steel Book, Her, and we have Hook. Then we have How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Let's move on. We have Hugo, The Hunger Games, Hunger Games Catching Fire, Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2. Well, this is Part 2, excuse me, right here. Wasn't a big fan of the 2 Mockingjay movies, but the 2 first Hunger Games movies I did enjoy. We have Identity, Inception, then we have Independence Day. I hated the sequel. Indiana in the Cupboard, Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark. I don't have every Indiana Jones movie. I'm waiting to get some like special editions on Part 2 and Part 3. I don't want Part 4 because I hated that movie. We have Insomnia. We have Interstellar. Like I said, guys, I apologize for this glare. I'm trying to get as best I can to get a good, get the blurriness out so you can see the titles. Invincible. This is probably my favorite football movie of all time, by far. I mean, Mark Wahlberg certainly was fantastic. I mean, I think it was one of his best performances. I mean, not the best, but he was very good in that, and it's one of my favorite football movies. Then we have The Island, The Italian Job, Stephen King's It. I'm very glad to see this on Blu-ray, and obviously, guys, I am very excited for the remake. I mean, it's really amazing, guys, to see that the new It movie coming out in September has had more views than any other movie trailer in history. That's insane. I mean, for opening day, I should say. I mean, I don't know if it still has the most views than any other trailer, but it's amazing to think that the remake for this one has had more views than any other movie in history when it was released on the release date. And finally, guys, I've got Jack Reacher, the first one. I don't own the second one because I didn't like it, but the first one certainly was entertaining. So, alright, guys, we're going to close out part 2 of this collection. So it looks like I'm going to be doing more than 2 parts of this collection. So, hopefully I'll get this all done in part 3 here. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Certainly leave your comments below, and I'll see you guys in part 3 of my collection. Alright, later, guys.